Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the top 15 Mario Kart tracks of all time. We're going right into this, guys. Number 15, from Mario Kart Super Circuit, we have Cheeseland. This was definitely a fan favorite back when I was a little kid. I used to love this track so much. I still do, obviously, now it being in the top 15. You know, you got the little cheese moon over there and like the cheese mountains slash castles or towers, whatever you want to call them, all the way in the background. This track just has scenery unlike anything else. I mean, honestly, if it were to like, if the sky were able to change from like, you know, the blue to the sunset and then all the way to like the dark night, like the title screen would, oh my god, that'd just be the greatest thing ever. The mice also don't protrude the track too much, so you know they don't get in the way too often. I mean, there's still a good chance you could run into them, but it's not like, it's not complete, it's not definite, so you could there's a good chance you can avoid the mice. And I also like the shortcuts you could do with the ramps here. You could use a mushroom and just jump over the skip that turn over there, and then you could also skip a couple of grass cuts, or it's not even grass, but you know what I mean, off-road. There's a lot of off-road cuts you could take here, so you really gotta really make your choice as to which cut you want to make when doing time trials. Doing this track on Grand Prix is also really fun too, because you could also do this if you have a mushroom. I'm pretty sure if you had a larger character, you could skip at least one of the turns without a mushroom, but to skip both, I think you need a mushroom. We're going on to number 14. Some of you might be shocked to hear this, but this is Rainbow Road from the same game, Mario Kart Super Circuit. Now, the fact that this Rainbow Road is higher up on the list than Mario Kart 7's Rainbow Road, everyone is probably going to riot. But listen, guys, it's my list. You know, I played this Rainbow Road so much more and so much longer than I played the Mario Kart 7 Rainbow Road. And this track is just absolutely amazing. You know how in my top 136 video I said that the Super Nintendo version of Rainbow Road was my absolute favorite? I mean, that's not true anymore because, you know, 3 years have passed. This is pretty much the Super Nintendo Rainbow Road, but expanded upon to make it so much more fun. For example, there are still absolutely zero guardrails, except this time there's guardrails at the very start, but that's about it. But however, there are these aren't even rails, they're just like I don't even know what to call them, like barriers that you could jump off of, and they're really helpful in terms of making shortcuts. You know, the reason I like this track a lot is because I know I didn't make it up, but like I discovered that shortcut myself without looking online or anything like that, using a mushroom just to cut off this entire thing. So like this track is like, it feels more broken than the SNES version, and it allows me to time trial it more, and I enjoy time trialing it. That's why it's all the way up here at number 14. Number 13, no shocker here. Most people, I would assume 90% of Mario Karters would agree that Waluigi Pinball from Mario Kart DS is an amazing track. Definitely deserves to be top 15 worthy. This is the best DS track in my opinion. It always has been, ever since, you know, I first played it, because, you know, first impressions are very important. You know, if you don't like the track upon first playing it, then you're that track is pretty much screwed when considering it for a ranking list like this, top 145. This track definitely impressed me by the upbeat and pump up music, to, you know, all the cool factors in the background. You know, you got Waluigi's face with the sign saying Waluigi Pinball. You got slot machines that's up there showing the items, and then, you know, you just got this little like pinball rotation sound that you got as you're completing your lap, and you could see the pinballs, like the giant pinballs on the right side as you cross the starting line, and that cannon is definitely the best part of the entire course. It's just extremely amazing. Then, you know, those boost panels are somewhat worthless, but they're there for the effects and to make the track look better, obviously. And then you could always take this hug the edge of the pinball machine. There's no penalty for doing so, it's just to avoid the pinballs on the second and third lap that show up. So that was Waluigi Pinball there for you. Number 12, we have Mushroom Bridge. This was, I think, a top 5 in my top 136. Don't get me wrong, number 12 out of 145, that is still amazing. I still really love this track. It's just, you know, it's a starter on the Flower Cup. It's a little on the simple side, you know, but, you know, what do you expect from the first track of the Flower Cup? It's got two amazing tunnels. You know, you got the green tunnel at the start, and then this orange tunnel, you know, with the lights, and then the stars on the wall. It's just, it makes it work. And the cars, honestly, they're not as harmful or unforgiving as, you know, cars from Moonview Highway or Shroom Ridge. You could say that, because, you know, if you just hit one, you simply spin out. So, you know, these cars are at least a little more tough. the ones that we're driving on. And you could also have a little shortcut over here. Unfortunately, there's 3 laps and only 2 shrooms in time trial, so that was always one of the bummers about Double Dash, that you only got 2 shrooms even though you had 3 laps. But anyways, you still have that going for you. And I always enjoyed taking this rail shortcut right here, going above the bridge. And you know, it may not even be faster, but it's so much fun to do because it takes a lot of skill because the rail is so skinny, and that's what I like a lot about Mushroom Bridge. But we are moving on to number 11. Coconut Mall barely misses the top 10. Really unfortunate for this track, but you know, I still absolutely love this track. It is really amazing. I never take this bottom route because it's so much slower. When you time trial this track a lot, whether you want to try and do the glitch, which I will definitely show off later, or just to complete the entire track, you know, you never want to take the bottom route, and you always I actually don't even know if people take the boost panel route or if they just go straight down the middle. I don't know what's faster when you're using Funky Flame or something like that. And you definitely want to take this route as well. You know, it's got a low boost panel. I always try and hop there to get a low trick off the boost panel because the low tricks look so good in this game. You got that, and then you're ending off with, you know, cars that are just driving back and forth, trying to block the boost panel. So obviously sometimes that's a rough moment there. And you also got an opportunity for a 3 shroom shortcut. No, most people usually don't take this shortcut, but or maybe they do. I just haven't taken that shortcut in forever because I don't often get 3 shrooms because I'm never that far below when racing. So now this is the glitch. This glitch is one of the main reasons why this track is up here, because it's just, you know, it just makes this track, you know, separate from all the other tracks in the game, just because you could explore pretty much every single part of the track. I don't even explore the entire mall. Well, I do, but I don't show it because, you know, for the time of this video is already going to be extremely long, much longer than the rest of them. So we're just going to move on to number 10, the top 10 tracks of all time for Mario Kart, excluding the arcade versions, of course. This is DK Summit from Mario Kart Wii. I had a really tough time trying to rank which one's better, Coconut Mall, DK Summit, Coconut Mall, DK Summit. I wanted them both to be in the top 10, but I knew one of them had to be left out, so I decided to leave out Coconut Mall in favor of DK Summit, mainly because, you know, I time trial DK Summit more, and there's that time trial bias right there. Plus, it's more, you know, I don't know what it is with me and, like, you know, DK related tracks that have cannons and all that kind of stuff. It just makes it really fun. You could take a gap shortcut. There's really pretty much no penalty for taking it. It's just a gift for you guys because it's pretty much the easiest shortcut in the game. You just turn right and you make a gap, and there's so much room to like miss, and you know, it's a really helpful shortcut. And then just like that, you're done. You know, I think the unique part about this track is that it introduces the zippers, the blue half pipe things where you're allowed to trick off of, and the fact that this track is just filled with them allows you to do intense tricks, and just so satisfying when completing this track. And you also got a double shortcut right here where you could actually cut the second gap when turning left and going onto that pipe. It's just in a really satisfying track to play on, so I like it a lot for that. Now number 9, you guys might be a little shocked about this because this was, I think, in like the top like 40 or something in my top 136 last time or something like that, maybe not even. This is Mushroom City. I gave this track thoughtful consideration. I was like, you know what, I think I enjoy playing this track more than I do Mushroom Bridge. This track just has a lot of more options, so it never really feels old because you can either go straight down like this, and it connects with, you know, the center of the center of the city, where you could take other paths, and it's a really great, you know, the scenery is just really amazing. And you also have the music that Mushroom Bridge has also plays in this track, so you know, whether you're playing Mushroom Bridge or Mushroom City, I almost fell there, you always get the same amazing music. I like that a lot. You could also take this path right over here where you start off by going right, and you just keep going straight for now. And the cars on this track are the same as like the ones on Mushroom Bridge. They're a little more difficult to get around because there's more of them, and the alleyways are skinnier, but you could still bypass the cars no problem like that. And you also have this neat little shortcut at the end here. It's really amazing. You could do it without a mushroom because off-road stats are insane in Double Dash, but there's that. You could also, there was that purple path shortcut right there that you could take to skip the first path. And now this is no shocker to anyone who's seen my top 120 and my top 136. This is Koopa Beach 1 from Super Mario Kart, and you know, there's not much to say about this track. It's completely simple. As you can see on the bottom, that's the entire track. It's just a set of islands to make a complete circle. Again, first impression's sake, I don't know what it is I like about this track. The fact that you can just complete laps in so little time. Obviously, I'm not the best Super Mario Kart player because I think the world record would be on his like 3rd or 4th lap by now. So I'm just going around showing you guys what it's like to be on all the islands, and then, you know, you just cut through, going on all the water, get through this island. I'm a little upset that this track has not been made into a retro track yet. Fingers crossed for Mario Kart 9, maybe this track will be a retro track, but we'll see. You don't want to definitely cut off too much water there because it'll definitely fall off and it'll slow down your time a lot. But it's just fun to race on because when you're playing computers in a Grand Prix mode and you just start annihilating them. I wonder how this track would be once we finally get Virtual Console for the Switch and you could play online in these tracks in Super Mario Kart. If that ends up happening, that would be amazing. Let me tell you that for a fact. And just playing this track would be completely insane. I would probably vote for this track all the time. And man, I don't know what it is about this track. I just find it so fun. I know other people wouldn't rank this at number 8, but man, I will always come back to that track when playing Super Mario Kart. It's so good. And now the best Mario Kart Wii track out there, in my opinion, has to be Bowser's Castle. I mean, you start off by going up a vertical bridge pretty much and launching yourself right into Bowser's mouth. Just a perfect way to start your adventure. And you know you're going into something serious. And you got the wavy roads over there and then thwomps. Again, they're not too much in the way, but you know, if you don't take the turns as tight as I do right there, then they're definitely going to be a problem for you. And you definitely want to take these zippers to avoid the fireballs. That is definitely the best route to take. And you know, you have 2 identical paths. So you could either take the left route or the right route, but the left route, if you're not doing the glitch, then is the faster one. That is the one that time trialers take, the world record does. And you know, it's always satisfying when you want to try and get a low trick off of that ramp. Obviously, I didn't do that right there, but either way, you end up on the these geysers that actually expand and compress when you're doing so. And the boom, that's an example of the glitch. If that glitch didn't exist, I don't know if this track would be in the top 10. Again, I love shortcuts, so it's just amazing. Number 6, DK Mountain. Man, guys, this was number 2 back in the top 136 and number 1 in the top 120. This was my favorite track back 4 years ago, and that is why, if you saw my trailer, the 120 was inside the DK Mountain. That was because it was number 1 in the top 120. So, man, guys, number 6 is still really good, but I think the reason it was number 1 and number 2 is definitely because the Mario Kart Wii version of this track had a lot of influence on this track. The Mario Kart Wii version of this track is definitely much better than the GameCube version, but I still love the GameCube version. Don't get me wrong. This is why this track is at number 6. It's very different compared to all the other GameCube tracks. It makes it more of an adventure because you start off high and you make your way all the way down. So you start off from the mountain, and then you try it once you go across the bridge to complete your lap. You just feel like you completed something special because you know you're on the top of this mountain. You're like, oh man, what's gonna happen to me now? And then you know it just changes into this grassland with some borders going down that you have to avoid. And then you could also do this epic gap shortcut. It's a lot harder to do it on the GameCube version than Mario Kart Wii, but regardless, you still got that. And here you have it. There's not much shortcuts on DK Mountain, but it's just a very lovable, memorable track. There's a lot of fun stuff you could do on this track. The physics are very wonky, and that's why I love DK Mountain so much. It's always going to be in my heart. Number 6, still amazing. Number 5, we're in the top 5 now, however. Shy Guy Falls from Mario Kart 8. This was, I think, 19 or 20 in my top 136. I'm not really sure. But it moved up to number 5 just because of how addicting the freaking music is. Like, oh my god. I am in love with the music, and then the gorgeous visuals. You see a rainbow over there. I didn't even see that while recording because I was focused on driving a good lap for you guys, but there you go, you got a rainbow. And then just the waterfall physics. This is unlike anything else, guys. Like, you know, this was definitely shown in some trailers, and I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to play this track. I don't know what this is, and they definitely did not disappoint because, you know, first you drive up the waterfall, now you're driving down the waterfall, and oh my god, I don't even know what to say anymore. You're gliding across the waterfall now, and then you're listening to the Shy Guys sing while you're racing, and it's just the scene, looking out at the scenery makes it really feel like, you know, just I don't know what else to say besides like an adventure or something like that, but it just makes it feel like you've had a good time. This track, there's not much to feel bad about in this track, and it's really fun in my opinion. This is pretty much the only shortcut. If they had a if they had a better shortcut, then this would definitely maybe be in the top 3 or something like that. But it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard when it's this high, because it's really hard to rank them. So number 4, Neo Bowser City from Mario Kart 7. If you know me, you know I've always loved this track. This has always been my favorite Mario Kart 7 track. I believe it would always stay to be my favorite Mario Kart 7 track of all time. And the fact that it's at number 4, oh my god. I considered putting this track at number 1, to be honest with you. There were a few times when making this, I was like, I think Neo Bowser City is my favorite track. But I don't know, Mario Kart 7 is not my favorite game at all, and it's up there though. I don't know. I think I'm number 5 on my list. We'll see. But we're not talking about the game. We're talking about the track. This track just, first of all, the name Neo Bowser City. I don't know if it's Neo or it's just, I don't know. Okay, we're just gonna move on. Yeah, I love that. I love the name for the fact that it's just so unique compared to other tracks. And Bowser doesn't really have his like own today. Every time Bowser's always associated with castles and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that Bowser's able to make his own rainy city, like I don't know what to call it, but somewhere like Boston or New York or something like that, or down in Vegas. You got some epic, just nice cities over there. All in all, makes for a really fun track. I enjoy drifting on that track so much. So number 3, this was the number 1 back in my top 136 3 years ago. This is Electrodrome. Oh boy, let me tell you a lot about Electrodrome. I mean, oh my god, this was the first track shown in one of the trailers for Mario Kart 8 when it came out, or before it came out. And man, I was impressed, because look at what I'm driving on right now. There's like red squares coming off of me as I'm driving, and then you got the spin boost that will separate you between the pink area and the green area. And then the effects, as you can see, look at around me. Look at around the screen as I was on that area. You could tell the developers spent so much time on this track, and it's so amazing. I mean, the music is so pumped up, and it makes you really feel like you're having a good time. This is unlike any other Mario Kart track. I mean, I say that a lot for these top 10 tracks, but that's why they're in the top 10, because there's a lot of elements that these tracks have that developers spend a lot of time on, that make these tracks unlike any other Mario Kart track you've ever seen. You got like a Titantron over there showing Shy Guys and Koopas dancing, and you got a lot of spin boosters that definitely allow you to make it seem like that you're going fast on this track, and you're getting these laps done really quickly, even though you don't want to go fast on this track. It's just a given that you're going to go fast. And on 200cc, oh my god, man, this is utter madness. But because you could like fly all the way over. I don't know if you could do the cut shroomless on 200cc. You probably could. I definitely did not do the cut in an optimal angle, but you could definitely tell this track, there was a lot of effort spent on this track. So anyways, number 2, moving on, Big Blue. You guys had to figure that Big Blue was going to be number 2, or at least somewhere in the top 10, top 5, definitely, because you guys have not seen this track if you guys been keeping track of my list. Number 2, oh my god, like, wow, this track is so good. Honestly, I'm going to say this right now. I believe that this track would be my number 1 if it were not for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I don't know what it is. I've had so much more fun playing Big Blue in the original Mario Kart 8 than in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And I definitely time trialed Big Blue. That's where that time trial bias comes in, because I time trialed this track so much in the original Mario Kart 8, and now that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out, and they got rid of that the fire hopping ability. Not that the fire hopping ability was not that I like the fire hopping ability, but the fact that it allowed you to go faster, and it changed up the strategy for this track again. The stats being used for this track definitely changed up a bit while playing this track. That's why it's down here at number 2. Number 2, guys, out of 145 tracks, my second favorite track of all time. Better than the best Mario Kart 8 track. Better than every single track in pretty much almost every single game out there. Like, wow, this track, it splits off into many corners. There's many things. I didn't realize that this track had some was using underwater physics. That's why the 200cc shortcut is possible. And look at this, guys. when you're finishing, you're entering just this I don't even know what to call it, like a machine or something that's suspended in the air. And come on, guys, you can't look at that, rainbows again and everything. And then this 200cc shortcut, which is almost impossible with a bike. It's so hard to do with a bike. Much easier with a kart, guys. I wouldn't try it with a bike. But anyways, number one, the reason you guys watched all previous 9 videos just to get to this point, to see what I voted for my number one favorite track of all time. None of you guys are going to agree with it, probably. None of you guys are probably going to expect it, but you guys have to just respect the opinion. So without further ado, let's go. Yes, from Mario Kart Double Dash, Rainbow Road. You guys probably never ever saw this coming. I don't know. I didn't see this coming either when I was making this list, but I played all the tracks. I got footage from every single track, played them all for you guys, and it came down to this track when I played it to get footage for it, and I was like, I absolutely love this track. It's the perfect difficulty for any Mario Kart Double Dash player to finish off with. As you can see, the Game Boy Advance Rainbow Road that you saw earlier on in this video was the Rainbow Road before this one, and this Rainbow Road ramped up the difficulty in the it set the bar really high for what Rainbow Roads should be and should look like. This part is very beautiful over here. Going into the canyon, you just get a little rest, and then when the Rainbow Road elegant, gorgeous, and beautiful music plays on, and then you're just sitting there, it gives me the chills every time. I'm telling you, even when I'm talking right now, I'm getting chills right now thinking about going, like, just flying up in that cannon, just thinking about all of the positive memories in life, and then just sitting here listening to the gorgeous soundtrack. I have a couple of highlights right here. When you're going down when you're going through the turns, and you know you're going halfway through the course. Look at this. This is the best part about the track. When playing Grand Prix, you see that star over there? There are free stars on the track. No, that wasn't there because the computer dropped it. Look at shooting stars are falling from the track, and it lands stars. Look at that on the upper right of your screen. Stars will land on the track. If a shooting star falls on the track in a Grand Prix or versus mode, that is unlike anything else. And then you're in the cannon, a spiny shell misses you. Boom, perfect way to end the video. Gorgeous, perfect way to end the list. Guys, I just want to thank you so much for sticking with me and watching these lists. I've gotten more attention from these videos than from these lists than I've ever had on this channel, so I just want to thank you guys so much for sticking with me. There's so much more great Mario Kart content to come, even though I have less than a week before I'm moving into college, but it's just really nice, and I want to thank you guys so much for sticking with me. Let me know what your top 15 Mario Kart tracks are of all time. I will see you all later. Thank you guys so much for watching these. I can't say it enough, and I will see you all next time.